We're back at Epic Content Marketing 2016. I'm sorry I haven't caught your name because I wasn't at your talk.
Jesper Laursen.
Jesper Laursen. Yeah, and you work at?
Native Advertising Institute.
Interesting. So you have a kind of different approach at like unbranded content than other people have today.
To some extent, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
Can you just give us a quick summary of what you were talking about or what your talk was?
Yeah, so the presentation was about native advertising, which is essentially it's a paid form of advertising where the ads that you put in matches the form, feel, and function of the content on the media that you're publishing in.
Yeah.
So if you're publishing on a newspaper, it needs to be the same kind of content that is already in the newspaper, or if you do it on Facebook, pay to get reach on Facebook, it needs to be the type of content that is normally on Facebook. So
but
that is the essence of native advertising.
Won't that kind of feel intrusive to the people who see it?
No, not if you do it in a way that that intertwine or interact with the content that is already there. Traditional advertising is more intrusive.
Yeah.
It's interruption marketing. So you're reading a magazine for a certain reason, and then all of a sudden you're interrupted by a commercial message. Or if you are watching a good movie, and then the commercial break comes on, so you're interrupted in consuming the valuable and relevant, engaging content that you want. So if you do native advertising, which is essentially to give readers or the viewers more of that relevant and engaging and good content, it shouldn't feel intrusive at all. It should be more of what they're already doing.
Earlier I talked to Anne, who was talking right before you, I think. And she, her point was that brands kind of have to step up and take ownership of their brand and their products and be proud enough to like use it in their content, to like display it and be proud of it. But that's not the case with native advertising. No,
so native advertising is more often a top of the funnel exercise.
Yeah.
So where traditional advertising more often time is a more tactical message. For example, on television, or I think something like 22% of all advertising is done by retail, and they want you to come and buy, milk. So they'll have a tactical message of selling milk at a discount, or something like that. So that's very bottom of the funnel content. When you're doing native advertising well, it's more top of the funnel content. So that you got to bear in mind that it shouldn't be about your product or your service or yourself. Having said that, though, it's very important that you have a clear strategy for how you're going to bring people from that top of the funnel and all the way down to the funnel. So you need a strategy, and that doesn't necessarily have to be on the media that you're doing native advertising on, but it could be getting people from that media and driving them to your own platform, where you can then start serving them more bottom of the funnel content, which is more about your product and services.
I think the easiest way I come up with is to kind of track visitors on other news sites and then hook him with a Facebook pixel and then serve them a Facebook ad after. But that means that the newspaper or the media outlet has to be cooperative with me as an ad agency. Are there, do most of the news sites and other places you can run native advertising kind of play along with brands to give them what they want?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you want.
Yeah.
But so to succeed with native advertising, your campaigns should be multi-channel, shareable.
Of course.
So it should be on different platforms. And obviously there are publishers that are interested in keeping you on their site.
Yeah.
But even if you stay on what you'd call the property of these publishers, they now expand it onto social media as well. So you can actually be on Facebook through a publisher. Facebook opened up, I believe, about a month ago for branded content or native advertising to be a part of instant articles.
Yeah.
So if a publisher has instant article, which most of them do, you can actually have your branded content put on that through that channel.
Yeah.
So and I think more and more publishers are willing to work with you on that. But then again, what you really want is you want to work together with that publisher. You don't only want their eyeballs. You actually want what they know about creating good content to that audience that they have, because ultimately that's what you're after. You want to you want to produce good content to that specific audience that they have, and they know how to do that much better than an ad agency
Exactly.
or that the brand does.
Yeah.
So you want to work closely with them, and of course, publishers need to listen to what brands wants as well.
Yeah. So more and more businesses and brands in Norway are trying to grasp what both content marketing and native advertising means. Some of them have even tried it out. Some are still trying to grasp what it means and what kind of value it can drive for the business. But for most cases, I think just getting started is enough to start testing and seeing like what you can pull back. But let's say a small brand want to start trying out native advertising tomorrow. What should they do? Like, which steps should they go through in order to make sure that they're seeing an return on their investment?
So for brands to start out slowly with native advertising, I would go use Facebook. You can have content distribution on Facebook for very little money. 100 kroner or $100 or even less. So you can actually test it out and see how you can engage an audience, what kind of content you should put out there. And then once you find that, you could start putting more money after that content, the content that is performing the best.
Yeah.
Whereas if you went to one of the major publishers, you would need to start out with a much bigger budget. So if you haven't done it at all, and you just want to see, how can we make this happen? I would probably start it with Facebook. But in order to do that, I think it would be important you need to have content already.
Yeah.
So if you do have content on your own blog or your site or video or whatever, and then you want to try to amplify that to give that quickly a bigger audience, then you should take some of those pieces of content, put it into Facebook or maybe one of the programmatic platforms, just to get a feel for how it's working.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.